Welcome to the first episode of this VPM session. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Might call it the VPM corner or something. We'll see what the members experience, etc., etc. But I figured since, I'm doing this charity, might as well begin at home, right? I've got 7 questions. Normally this whole thing is gonna be around 7 questions, and it should be about 15 minutes. Just, get to know the members. We might extend it to 30 minutes, just a matter of figuring out how this is gonna work. So yeah, I'm gonna start with, so the first 2 episodes will obviously be my 2 home clubs, which happen to be Rivonia Toastmasters and Santon Toastmasters. And because of conflict of interest until the 27th, I can't speak to our VPM, our president, our VPE, and our secretaries. They're not really clued up on that much, I don't think. And yeah, so all the important, or the people that I could get the data from, there's conflicts of interest. So I'll most probably do a second follow-up interview with the various role players after the 27th. So you might get a part 2 of this. So this is just the introduction and also my observation. So yeah, let's get started. So I'll skip question 1, which is what initially attracted you to this role. So I'll skip it because I'm not a VPM in any of the clubs, so I'll skip it. So the second question is, what strategies have been most effective in attracting new members to our club? And I think we get a lot of guests. At Rivonia, we don't get as many guests, but what I think has attracted people to Rivonia lately has been the fact that we're doing master classes, and we are also uploading these master classes online. We could attract more people. I think if we put out an agenda early, so the agenda is the reason why we're not attracting as many members as we would like. And yeah, so we're not attracting enough new members. We're not doing lead generation, so we're not running any ads. We're not on platforms like Meetup. So we're not on any of these platforms that a lot of clubs get visitors from. And obviously, I think we rely primarily on the district to send us leads so we can follow up on. But I think that is our main concern. We're not doing enough to attract new members. So that is the biggest struggle. So yeah, I genuinely don't have tips and tricks there. It's one of the challenges we are faced with as a club. We're not attracting enough new members. But we've got something in the works, and maybe I'll do an update to see how that works out. And hopefully we'll attract new members. And how does the club make sure that new members feel welcomed and integrated into the Toastmaster journey? So the one thing that we are trying to do more of at Rivonia is we are trying to have member orientation. Because of the member orientation, it used to be part of our core history, our core values, where we used to have the VPM and the VPE come together, do member orientation. They take the member on the various aspects of Toastmasters. They take them onto how to pick a pathway, and also give a brief overview of how meetings are run and the whole Toastmaster experience and where to go to get certain things. That used to be something we used to do very well. But obviously, as the membership went down, we haven't been doing that as much. But we're trying to get back into doing that. So member orientation, doing pathway orientation, especially with the changes that are now on with the new pathway. It's a different approach. I'm still getting used to it. So for most people, I think by now, I'm a COVID Toastmaster, so I'm still getting used to it. Some say it reminds them of the old CC. So yeah, but that member orientation is something that I think we used to do very well to integrate members into the Toastmaster space. And the other thing we do is at meetings, we encourage our members to take up small roles. I know there's no role that's considered small, but we normally allow them or ask them to take up roles such as the R counter, the timekeeper, so that they feel comfortable, as opposed to taking up a massive role like the grammarian. So the grammarian can be quite a daunting one, and some people downplay it. So we just try and give them small roles. They get used to it. And then the other thing is we also take them to other clubs so that they can see the whole community and how it is. So that's something that our current VPM actually has been doing, especially with some new members when we're trying to get them to join our club, to show them that there is a larger community. And then what are the biggest challenges we faced in retaining members and how do we address them? So our biggest challenges, I think, is we're a small club and we're always recycling roles. So I'll be the Toastmaster of the day, our president will be Toastmaster of the day next week, our VPM will be Toastmaster of the day the following week, and it's always a continuous cycle. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges, that our meetings are not as well planned, and it shows, but we still have our meetings go on. So that's the biggest one, the fact that we don't have quality meetings. I'm the VPE at Rivonia, so I can definitely speak on that there's certain things I would love to do from a meetings perspective, but because of the numbers, we don't have the privilege. So we have to reach out to the bigger part of districts. So we have to reach out to all of our connections. So I'll reach out to people from Santon, Morningside, Transformers, Zambezi, our AD. So we're continuously reaching out to other members to come and assist. And it works. It gets the meetings done, and it's a nice way of integrating our new members. They get to see, oh, there's a larger organization here. I'm part of a big organization. I'm not just a Rivonia member. But it's something that we need to work on, making sure that our meetings, they're a bit more well-structured. I mean, the educational or the master classes are amazing. So we love those. And I think that's something that goes well in the meetings. But the rest of the meeting, if one or two role players drops us, we find people that are taking up 3 to 4 roles, and that can be quite chaotic. So we are a work in progress, but give us 2 months, we'll be back. So we are definitely a work in progress. The next one, which tools, events, or initiatives have helped increase member value in your club? The biggest one for me has to be the education or the masterclass. I think that for me has been a big driver. It allows the members to practice what they do on a normal basis. They get to teach other people and speak about what they do, and that allows us to get to know the member a lot better. And also they get to learn. We don't just they don't just speak, they get to learn about other things that are possible within Toastmasters. They get to see that there's a larger network, and that's something that I feel like in Toastmasters we've been lacking, is that networking aspect, and we're trying to open that up. And I think that has been something we've been doing very well, creating that value for the members. You come and we put it up onto YouTube so that our members actually go there and see that, oh, this is what we did, this is, so that's something that I think we've been doing to add value. And also we're hoping to go back in person, or do hybrid, or do 1 week in, 1 week out, kind of a setup to increase the value that we give to the members. But for now, the masterclass is the one thing we're doing well, and the in-person meeting is next. We're definitely gonna do the in-person meeting and actually up the level of our meetings. And I think with these masterclasses in person, that would be amazing. And also the networking aspect afterwards would be amazing, for especially for the speakers, because people can actually go to the person who's delivered the masterclass and ask additional questions, and we get to have people bring their profession in and actually speak about what they do. And if we can have it in person, man, it might actually go a long way. So that's the one thing that we're hoping to do, have it in person. So it's part of the bigger strategy. How does our club gather feedback from members, and how do we act on it? So right now we actually don't have a feedback form. Actually, I'm actually going to integrate a feedback form. I think that's something we need to do. Actually, that's a great, I'm actually going to do that. I mean, I drafted these questions. Now I'm realizing there's certain things I need to do within my club. And that's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to help the various clubs see how they can improve. And I think for me, like I said, member feedback is something that I'm gonna try and do. So we're gonna look at putting together either a Google form. Yeah, I think a Google form would be a good way of gathering feedback after every meeting from the visitors as well as the members, and see how we can get better. Yeah, because I've seen we've got the emissary thing, but I don't think people fill that in, and I don't think people know enough about that. Maybe we should do something. Maybe there will be a video regarding that on this platform, but for now we don't have anything else. We do get feedback from the emissary form, but as for like visitors, but for actual members, I know Tim did a whole moment of truth session, so that's something that we are also going to start rolling in or introducing with the new members, just to see where they are starting, and after 6 months where they are in their journey. I think it might be 3 months. We must try and do it quarterly, because the problem with doing it 6 months is too late. You're speaking to the member when it's time for renewal, you see. So if we can do it every quarter, or if we can do it every 6 months, which means from June until December, and then December the next time we'll do it in June again. So, but I think quarterly helps us keep a pulse on the members' progress and if the expectations are still the same. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. So we'll definitely be incorporating the moment of truth. And one of the reasons why we haven't done moment of truth is because we're a small club. I'm sure on the dashboard you'll see there's 5 people, and out of the 5 members, the majority are exco members. So we always have a conversation, and there's like there's about one member that is fairly new. So we're using him to actually put in systems. So that is something that we're doing to revive the club and get it up to where it used to be, back to its old glory days. And I think it's possible. We'll definitely be distinguished. Don't get me wrong. We'll be distinguished by the end of the current Toastmaster year. Do not get me wrong. We will reach our distinguished goal. So, yeah. And then the last question is, it's what advice would you give new VPMs trying to build or grow their membership base? I'm not a VPM, but the advice I would give is look at the member, your type of members that you've got. There's a trend. There's definitely a trend. If all of your visitors are, let's say, for example, 25-year-olds that are in finance, or 27-year-olds that are in IT, clearly there's a trend. There's a trend. You're in an area that attracts those types of people, or the conversation that they're having around their circle is around your club. So you need to figure out what's going on. So ask those questions. How, the moment of truth or the member feedback form, it's important so that you can also tailor your message. I know that you run a risk of having a club that's full of people that are very similar, but I think if you are attracting purely IT people, then that's your thing. That's your thing. Make it work. Make it a thing. Grow in that space. Have people that are within that space, and then grow from them. Continuously reach out to those types of people. Carve your message around those people. If you're running Facebook ads, or if you're running any LinkedIn ads, or any types of ads, specifically point out to those people. Like, you can say, are you an IT person looking for 1, 2, 3 to improve on XYZ? That speaks volume. It's you are going to reach a certain group, and you already have people that they're familiar with in your club, and it's easier for them to actually join the club because they feel comfortable, they feel familiar. It'll be pointless if it's a room full of IT people, and then you've got somebody from I don't know, from the medical space, for example, and it's gonna take a while for them to feel comfortable. So find out what is your mode and double down on that. That's one thing. Don't alienate other people. That's another thing. Do not alienate other visitors, but just know what your strengths are and work on those. And then once you've figured out something solid, then you can start adding on to it. And secondly, I think have regular feedback and check-ins with your members. The one thing that our IPP Chris does very well is he goes out and has one-on-one sessions with a lot of the visitors and members. So he does that very well. He gets to know the people. So get to know the people, figure out what their goals are, and continuously check in. Even if it's a quarterly thing, check in. Make sure that are they still aligned? If I wanted to improve my speaking, am I still on track to improve my speaking? If I wanted to improve my presenting, am I still on track to improve in my presenting? So that's the one thing that I would advise. Find out what is your mode and double down on that. Location. You will attract certain people. That's part of your mode, obviously, I think. And member experience in terms of member goals. What are they still, having that personal touch. That's the one thing that I would recommend. Have that personal touch with the members, not only when it's renewals. Continuously have that personal touch. And I think a bonus one, oh man, it slipped my mind, but yeah, it slipped my mind. It completely slipped my mind. But yeah, those are the three that I would definitely encourage. Oh, I remember. The bonus one is take advantage of these online platforms. Upload your meetings to YouTube. Obviously the educational part, take advantage of Instagram, take advantage of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most underutilized platforms. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of Meetup. Just take advantage of all these platforms. People are ready to engage with clubs. They don't know how to get into clubs. It starts with us taking advantage of all these platforms. Anyway, I'm actually over by 3 minutes. I didn't expect myself to actually get to 15 minutes. I was like, I'm going to speak for 5 minutes. I'm done. But anyway, remember, love, peace, and prosperity.